these frames, there's actually wood. Some people won't believe it, but the lower parts, the stands, they're made out of plywood. But if you paint them and finish them long enough, nobody can see that they're not metal. And when I started out, finally put the hands up here, and everything there is driven with one shaft going up. So I had it going and watched it, and I watched the hands, and the bloody thing went backwards. That was a good sign that this clock was never built after those drawings. But luckily, all I had to do is bring this bevel gear from inside to the outside, which then changed the direction of all the gears. And when you look up in there, that one shaft comes up to the crown gear, they call it. From there it goes out to all four clock faces, and then behind each clock face is a 1 to 12 gear, which it's called a motion gear, which then drives from the center, from the big hand. It drives the hour hand on the outside in the exact 1 to 12 gear. So now we should just come up to 6 o'clock. See the mechanism. It's hard to explain everything. It goes into what they call the warning, where you just see this. Everything has to be loose, and when it falls down into the cam, it starts the whole process. So now in a few seconds we should get on this side. It's only hanging on this pole now, which is a lever inside. This one will fall down, then the 16 dings on these 4 bells will start ringing. Once that is over, a few seconds later, the big bell will start sounding the hours. I got it within 1 second per hour, which is very good for a clockwork like this. But as I said, the main pendulum is in the right length, and up here we have a fine adjustment, which just the slightest little adjustment brings the pendulum up and down. I mean, it shortens or lengthens the pendulum, and that gives you the right time. Hopefully you can adjust within a second a day or whatever. The whole pendulum hangs on a 5 thou thick spring steel. That's the hinge for where the pendulum hangs on. This clock here, it's the same. It comes off the 1 hour shaft. It's also got a motion gear behind with that 1 to 12 gear. But this is where the guy who goes up to wind the clock, he can see what time it is, and then he might have somebody else looking at the face up there, and if it's out of whack, there is a whole mechanism in there where he can adjust the time of the 4 faces independent from this small clock here from the display. This is the heart of this clock, which it's called a double 3-legged gravity escapement. It's quite complicated and very delicate to build and to adjust. And my watchmaker buddy, he actually told me that a friend of his tried to make this just with the pendulum, just as a fragment, and he never got it to run, and he died before he got it to run. I said to my friend, "It's good you mentioned it to me, you know." So that is called the maintaining system. When the guy looks after a clock, he comes with his handle trying to wind the clock, and this handle is in front where he has to put the handle. So he has to lift this handle up, and now you see underneath where that segment engages with the big wheel, and that together with that lump of lead will drive the clock while he can engage that gear, and then he can wind the clock while winding the weight up, while the clock is driven by that maintaining system. So once it's done, he takes the handle out, gets the gear out of the way, and he puts this lever back down out of the way again in front of the winding shaft. If he forgets that, there is a click spring on that segment where the big wheel can ratchet over without stopping the whole clock. I know these drawings are around, but as far as I know, nobody ever tackled the whole thing. And even my partner or my friend in Ontario, he cannot believe that I got this clock working and did every part without the prior knowledge of clockmaking. And I don't want to be a clockmaker. I wanted to be a machinist. That's why I built it like hobby machining with the tools I had and everything. But it was a long effort. Why I'm doing this YouTube video, because it's not much good if I just keep this down in my basement here. I like people who see it, and I will go to some of those American Clock and Watchmakers Association. They're having those meetings and conferences. I'm concentrating right now on one which is going to be next May in down in Washington State somewhere, and I can transport the clock down there and show it. And they also have competition there, who people bringing their home project in, and I'll see what's going to happen there. What eventually will happen to the whole clock, I don't know yet. It's even I should think about it because of my age and everything, but it eventually, hopefully, goes to a museum where people can see it. I know people apparently, to my friend the clockmaker, they're gonna run my doors in trying to get drawings, trying to do it again. But unfortunately, I don't have drawings made for anybody else. I used to work on my machine. I had the drawings on the drawing board. I bring the parts in, there's grease all over it and whatever. And I just did it as much as I needed for myself to make all these parts. And if somebody would really be interested, I wouldn't mind to help somebody to make a set of drawing, or maybe even scan the whole thing and do it electronically, what apparently can do nowadays. So it's not a secret for me. Even there's so many things I had to come up myself with it, because as I said, I never built a clock before. Took an old cuckoo clocks apart once, that's about it,